December the 26th, 2018. This is a regular meeting of Commissioners Court of Grimes County, Texas. We are at the Grimes County Annex Building at 114 West Buffington Avenue, Anderson, Texas. Calling the meeting to order, I will ask our Brother Arlo, if you would, to lead our invocation this morning, and then remain standing and join us in the pledge to the U.S. flag and the Texas flag.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we come today, celebrating the birthday of your son yesterday, and as we move forward through the end of this year, you've given us the greatest gift that we could ever have.
Amen.
And Father, we need to realize that as we close out this year and welcome in another year, the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us here in this world, in this state, in this United States, and in this county, we ask, Lord, that you would continue to bestow those blessings upon us as we go into 2019. Let us remember to continue to unwrap the gift in 2019 and also at the close of this year, where you will give us wonders and you will give us knowledge that we've never known before. And Father, we ask a special prayer this morning upon John LaFleur, who has been administered to the hospital in ICU. Father, give the doctors a fresh anointing of knowledge to treat him, and let them know that they treat, but you're the healer. Father, we also ask that a special blessing be upon our judge and commissioners and all of those who serve in this court, the county attorney, the current clerks, the sheriff's department, the fire department, all of us here, Lord, because we need you. And God, we'll be so careful to give you the honor and praise in everything that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you very much. Would you be seated, please? Thank you for that prayer this morning. We'll now move to public comments, agenda item number 2. If you have any public comments, would you please come to the podium? Tell us who you are, and if you would, limit your comments to 2 minutes or less. I will make one public comment. There is a special meeting of Commissioners Court called for next Tuesday. That will be at the main courthouse, second floor, 10 a.m. That's for swearing in of newly elected county officials. So please feel free to join on New Year's Day for that activity if you so choose. Or hit the alarm and roll over and catch you a snooze. But that'll be next Tuesday, New Year's Day, January the 1st.
Did you say the time? I did I miss
10 a.m. Yes, ma'am. And that's the only business that we will conduct on that day. Any other comments, public comments? We then shall move to consent agenda items number 3, 4, and 5. 3 is consider and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills. Item 4, consider and take action to approve payroll. Item 5, consider and take action to approve budget amendments and or line item transfers, and there are a number of those. So, Commissioners, I know that you've had time to look over them, but I'll give you time to refresh your memory if you had any questions about any of those, or 3 or 4.
I didn't have any question. If anybody else,
No, ma'am.
anybody else? Well, then I'd like to make a motion that we approve consent agenda items 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
There's a motion before the court by Commissioner Walker to approve consent agenda items 3, 4, and 5. There's a second by Commissioner Cox. There's no further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to agenda item number 6. Emergency Management Subdivision Coordinator, Mr. David Lilly. Consider and take necessary action to approve the replat of King Oak Subdivision, Section 1, that combines Lot 183 at 1.34 acres and Lot 184, 1.56 acres into a single lot to be redesignated as Lot 184-R, 2.9 acres. We did conduct a public hearing this morning. Hearing none. Mr. Lilly.
Yes, Judge and Commissioners, again, as we discussed in the public hearing, this is one of many that we've had over the last several years with King Oaks, where a property owner they own 2 adjacent lots and they're wishing to build now, so they're combining the lots into one to remove the center property line. And again, there are no access issues with this combining of these lots.
I move to approve the replat of King Oak subdivision, section 1, combining lot 183 and lot 184 and redesignated as lot 184R.
Second.
There's a motion before the court by Commissioner Mallett, a seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, consider and take necessary action to approve the replat of King Oak Subdivision, Section 4, Block A, that combines Lot 34, 1.09 acres, and Lot 35, 1.24 acres, into a single lot to be redesignated as Lot 35-R, 2.33 acres. Mr. Lilly.
And again, as we discussed in the previous one, this again is an example where a property owner is getting ready to build and they have 2 adjacent lots and they're wishing to combine them into one so they can remove the center property line. Once again, there is no issues with access on this combining of lots.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I move to approve the replat of King Oak subdivision, section 4, block A, combining lot 34 and lot 35 and redesignated as lot 35R.
Second motion.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 7 by Commissioner Mallett. There's a second by Commissioner Dobianski. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Lilly, thank you again. We'll go to agenda item number 8, Human Resources Director Lucy Pope. We want to take this time to recognize David Paskett, our county clerk, for 30 years of service and his upcoming retirement. Mr. Paskett, could you come forward?
Absolutely.
Commissioners, would you join me up front or down front? Go ahead. The ticket is if you just turn your chair sideways, I can get by. With ease, may I say. Mr. Paskett, we would like to share with you a plaque that says Retirement Award presented to David Paskett in appreciation for 30 years of dedicated service to Grimes County. Your hard work and years of service is greatly appreciated. It's dated December 31, 2018, which would be your last day in office. So,
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Speech.
Don't let that fall out.
And I'd like to thank the people of this county for supporting me all these years and re-electing me. And it's been a real honor and a privilege to serve in this capacity. Enjoyed it very much.
Good. And did it seem like 30 years?
You know, it really did.
I can understand.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
You
Thank
bet.
you, Judge.
Adam's got the system here. See how easy it is?
I would like to make a couple of comments.
Sure.
David and I graduated from Anderson High School in 1970, along with Connie Perry, and the three of us have served on the, as an elected official in the county. David and I commuted to Sam Houston together for, what, 4 years, I guess, when we were in college?
Yeah.
And so it's been a long ride.
Well,
Very
hope
good.
you have many more.
You bet. All right. Thank y'all again. Lucy, thank you for taking care of that for us.
It's beautiful.
We'll go to agenda item number 9, County Treasurer Janice Trent. Consider and approve the standard mileage rates listed below as issued by the Internal Revenue Service of 2019. See attachment number 9. Is there anything you want to share with us, Ms. Trent, on this?
This is just, I went to an IRS seminar and the mileage has increased. You don't have to increase the rate if you don't want to, but usually that's the custom to follow the IRS regulations.
Ms. Nichols, any issues in your opinion as to if the rate was increased, what it would do to budget numbers that are already submitted?
No,
Minute.
because it's really minute
Sure.
as far as the scope of what is used in the travel for that.
And for the IRS, this would go into effect 1/1 of 2019, is that
Right,
correct?
That's why I had it on this agenda, because
Sure.
we wanted to rock and roll January 1. Well, 2nd.
And is there a recommendation from the auditors that if we are going to make an adjustment, it's easier or better to do it in conjunction with the
Yes.
federal?
Yes,
Okay,
it's much easier to keep up with
sure.
as far as bookkeeping and so forth, because we always have done it
Yes, ma'am.
for the beginning of the year.
And that's been the precedent in the past?
Yes.
Commissioners, do y'all have any questions or comments, concerns for the treasurer, the auditor, or one another?
No, sir. I move to approve the standard mileage rates listed below as issued by the Internal Revenue Service be made accordingly with Grimes County standard of 28 cents. Is that what we're doing?
58 cents.
58 cents, I'm sorry, 58 cents
We're
per
going
mile.
forward, not backwards.
Well, see, I was giving you a budget cut
That coffee. You need more coffee.
as listed in the IRS standard mileage rates for 2019. Is that better?
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 9 by Commissioner Walker. There's a second by Commissioner Cox. Is there any further discussion, commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will go to agenda item number 10. Consider and approve agreement renewal with Cummins Sales and Service for annual planned maintenance of the jail's 60 kW kilowatt emergency generator. See attachment 10. You are not Lieutenant Cook.
No, sir.
But Todd Green, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this to the court.
Could you speak in a British accent for us, or? Never mind.
This is our annual maintenance agreement for the generator for the jail, which obviously is a requirement for us to keep the generator at the jail going. The annual maintenance come up for renewal. Been satisfied with the service. Just looking at it, I believe there might be a $7 increase in the price this year. But other than that, everything looks the same.
The language and all is consistent with the previous agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Foltz happened to glance over this?
I don't think he's seen this one.
Right.
I just received it this morning from a counterpart, so my understanding he has not seen it yet.
Okay. But it was my
But
understanding
it's-
there wasn't any change in the language, but.
Yes, but
it's
yes,
$7.
but looking at previous ones, so it's the same.
Correct.
We just have one generator?
This one's for the jail, there's another one that will be coming up later, that will be for the whole office building, the bigger generator.
And they don't renew at the same time, they're kind of separate.
Yeah, they renew separately.
If there are no further questions, I move we approve agreement renewal with Cummins Sales and Service for annual planned maintenance of the jail 60K emergency generator.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 10 by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Mr. Green, thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 11, County Clerk, District Clerk Diane LaFleur, consider and take action to approve the changes to civil court costs for the District Clerk. See attachment number 11. I know Ms. LaFleur is not here.
She's a representative.
We do have a representative. Is there anything that you'd like us to be aware or share with us on this?
It's just that she's removing.
Could I get you to come to the podium, please? And identify yourself for the world that views us on video.
I'm Anna Gonzalez with the District Clerk's Office.
Sure.
We're removing the alternative dispute resolution charge because that fee can only be charged if we have established an actual county alternative dispute resolution system. So that's the thing that we're changing. The car fund fee is for all civil cases that we file, and it's charged as requested by the either petitioners or attorneys. It's not a fee that's mandatory.
So we're removing the alternative dispute resolution. We have another agenda.
Well, I know, we have that on an agenda item.
We
Miss-
had that for the county clerk.
Ma'am,
That was for the county clerk.
right.
So,
So y'all were also collecting for
Yes.
alternate dispute resolution?
Yes.
Didn't know that. So it's the district clerk's position to remove that charge?
Yes.
Judge, I don't know. I know we've got another agenda item to address this particular issue.
Mm-hmm.
This ADR fee is a discretionary fee approved by the Commissioners Court, from what I understand.
Right.
And the last conversation that we had, and obviously it's on the agenda for later, was to discuss kind of what direction we were going with that. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know to what extent we can determine or dictate what fees are charged or not. But if we're going to continue down the road of the ADR system like we talked about in the past, I don't necessarily know that we want to remove that fee
At this time.
at this time.
And our county attorney's not here. He's done a little bit of research work for us in that area.
and Judge, the county clerk had proposed to increase theirs from $5 to $15, and the court decided to leave it at the $5 until we heard back from
Right,
the county attorney.
right.
I thought time was of the essence, like we had to have this
They're
by
supposed to be
January
set
1st.
by before January 1st.
That
So
was the
maybe you want
push.
to look at the other item, table this one, look at the other item, and come back to this one.
And although we set them, we have an elected official making a call as to what fees their office.
But I don't know that
Wants
that
to
elected
charge.
official was in here when it was being discussed regarding the county clerk and the information that the county attorney provided at that time.
Well, even in her letter here, she says that on the second portion about the car fund, she said if they request us to send them, it's to the petitioner, documents. These charges are only charged if we send documents for the petitioner. If they request for us to send them in, we would charge $65 at that time. she may not be sending many people to dispute resolution,
No,
the judge.
The car fund is actually for adoption fees that they charge, the Bureau of Adult Assistance charges, it's actually $62 that they charge for us to send in a certificate of adoption.
Mhm.
So it's separate from the actual filing fees for a case.
Okay.
And that gets paid out to the Bureau of Adult Assistance.
Okay, so so the fees that she's talking about in the second paragraph, under the family civil charges
For adoptions,
for adoptions, that's $15?
15, 22, and 25.
Okay.
And that's different than the ADR.
Right.
So she's addressing two things on the letter here.
Mm-hmm.
The ADR fee is actually a component of the court cost. That's included whenever you, like Anna just referenced, when you file a case.
Mhm.
It's automatically built in there if we choose to charge that fee.
But the district clerk is recommending that we don't charge that fee.
When I spoke with her, it's because we didn't have that system as of right now, I guess.
And we're not sure if we're going to have that system or if we're going to use the system that they have, the ADR, that they have established in Brazos County. Is that correct, Commissioners? That was our discussion.
Like you say, if you want to, like she suggested, go, when we go to that item, discuss that.
We can table this for now.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're
Maybe you
gonna,
can tell her what we're talking about.
we'll table this agenda item, both of these agenda items for the time being until we get further down into the agenda and have some discussion. If you can hang around, that'd be great. Thank you.
Or if you'd like to call her, let her give a heads up.
Or we can skip to it now if you'd like to bring it back.
I have no problem with that.
She may want to call her and let her know what we're seeing.
It's not time to be calling her about this. Yeah. I don't know that, I wouldn't think she'd want to be bothered at this time with her personal situation. And John's not here.
We can always call the district attorney or Chuck McLean to come in and answer any questions that you have.
On the ADR? I don't know if Judge McLean's here. All right.
She'll answer if she want to answer. And
If you want to give her a call, that's entirely up to you, but if, I don't think we ought to bother her at this moment. Okay?
Judge, are we skipping to item number 20?
We haven't yet. There's a recommendation that we do, but we can go to agenda item number 20. Coming back to the items, but let's go to 20. And that one says, discuss and take possible action based up on individual review of alternate dispute resolution, see attachment 20. If memory serves me, we had tabled this, put it back on the agenda, or for further review to be done, particularly by our county attorney, with his decision to, I believe, to investigate Brazos County if we would continue using their services, or do we as a court want to establish ADR here in Grimes County? And also along that line, it was to, and correct me if I'm wrong, to see if they would place John on the board of directors, and he was, by his own admission, willing to serve in that capacity if they chose to allow him to serve on that board. But
And for the record, we've been using Brazos County when they do, when the judge does call for the alternative dispute resolution, and he was willing to serve on that board. He also talked about whether we make a financial donation or something, isn't that correct?
Right, because we have
To
a,
that board.
we have a dedicated fund where we've accumulated cash in there. I think the number was around $85,000 or something like that. So the idea was that if we use their ADR, then maybe we make some type of a annual financial disbursement to that. But also the question is, do we continue collecting that fee since we had not been doing anything with that fee?
Maybe Mr. Paskett could speak to how many times have you seen this used to where?
Commissioner, I have not, I don't think I've ever seen it be used.
To where we contribute financially, but I thought our attorney said that we send cases there.
Yes, and he says he's gone there a lot with CPS cases.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking.
CPS
But we
does.
probably hadn't did a financial donation, but he goes,
Right.
they do send cases there.
Right.
I'm thinking about 8 or 10 years ago, there was a probate case that went to mediation. And I'm thinking that some of that fee was used on that deal, but to do it, there has to be a board or a commission put in place that can,
Within Grimes to handle
within
that,
Grimes
right.
County, that can oversee that expenditure.
The expenditure, but am I understanding it correctly when you're talking about the expenditure of the fund, but if we're going to, that won't stop cases from being referred.
John, this is here.
Right.
Because the statute says that the Commissioners Court of the county by order may establish, it doesn't say must or will, it says may.
But I think the quandary is that we have an account with a significant amount of money just sitting in there and has been sitting in there for quite some time, it's my understanding.
Correct.
We do utilize it, or at least the county attorney made reference to some utilization, but there's also a private component in our county that does similar services. So I think the conversation was that we were gonna check out Brazos County and, as you've alluded to earlier, see how we could incorporate some of those services and contribute to some of those services in Brazos County and accomplish the goal of just not having an account sitting there with a significant amount of money, at the same time handling some court matters that,
Thanks.
so without,
I've just called, Tuck is off this week, and I've called the district attorney's office, and they're gonna try to send over an assistant DA that maybe can answer some more questions. And also, I just wanna reiterate what John C. had said before, and that was, why would we wanna reinvent the wheel when
Sure.
we've got a good thing going with Brazos County, and we can also use Montgomery County.
And so the question is, are we gonna continue to collect the fee of the $5? That was the original question from the county clerk's office. If we were not going to utilize the funds or contribute to a dispute resolution center. But you're saying we have to have the committee in order to make the financial donation to any of them.
I
So-
think that's correct.
So the question we had, I thought, now, just correct me if I'm wrong, we're trying to decide if we're gonna continue to collect the fee, right? And then we can visit with the county attorney a little bit more, if necessary, on how to set up a committee if we're gonna give a financial donation.
Well, when the county clerk brought it to our attention to raise the fee, then the discussion came, well, we're charging $5. Why would we raise it to 15 when all we're doing is collecting the funds? So the issue of do we raise the fee, we said, we're gonna hold off on that. We're gonna leave it at $5 for the time being with the county attorney to do his review and then come back and share with the court, is my understanding of where we're at. My suggestion would be that if it's not the end of the world, I don't think we're going to jail based on this statute in the event we don't have those fees established by 1/1.
If you'd like, I'll come over there and read a couple of texts that I got back from Tuck.
Okay? And would you identify for the court
Judge,
before you?
before she starts, I do want to make a comment. I think one of the reasons that we were looking at going to Brazos County, and there's been some information about there has to be a committee or system in place here, and I think one of the reasons that we were looking at going to Brazos County is so that we didn't have to set up an additional committee that required additional oversight.
Exactly.
That was my understanding.
They were already established, right. But the other, I thought that John C. had a concern or had a desire to serve on their board
Yes.
Right.
as a representative of Grimes County. And at this moment, we don't have his feedback.
Right.
One, did he approach them? Two, if he did, were they in agreement to let him serve in that capacity?
Okay.
Okay, Mary.
My name is Mary Nichols. I'm the Grimes County Auditor, and I've been texting with Tuck this morning regarding the alternative dispute.
Who is our county court of law judge?
Yes. And I told him that I was going to try to get in contact with the DA's office and see if they could send someone over.
And they're standing behind you.
Yes. And he wrote, the DA doesn't use it, the district court and my court do, which, in essence, the district attorney works with the district court, so they would have some knowledge. Most common kind used is mediation. He requires it on all of his civil cases before temporary orders or final hearings. And usually the parties pay for it. They agree on private mediators. If they can't agree, I appoint a mediator and they must pay. My default mediation service is Dispute Resolution Center in Brazos County.
Does the DA's office have any comments they'd like to make, Tony?
Well, I'm a little behind the curve on exactly what we're talking about.
We, just trying to bring you up to date quickly, we were approached by the county clerk.
Yes, sir.
We're currently charging $5. Her recommendation was charged $15, which is the maximum allowable. And then we said, well, we've got a buildup of money in that fund, which is a dedicated fund to only be used for ADR. So then the question came, instead of raising the fee, maybe we do away with the fee. And then John C., our county attorney,
Yes, sir.
said that he uses their services in Brazos County. He was also going to check with Brazos County to see if they would consider allowing him to serve on the board. And if that was the case, the term came up, let's not reinvent the wheel and establish the committee here. Let's continue to use Brazos County. And this morning, the discussion has come up because now we're hearing from the district clerk's office that they want to eliminate the collection of the $15 ADR fee. So we have two agenda items
Yes, sir.
addressing one issue. Do you have any experience with ADR?
Not directly, be more ancillary. Most of my career has been with criminal prosecution, and generally, you know, mediation can't be ordered, although it is an option if you're trying to get a case worked out. But it's mostly going to be just a civil function. I don't know if there's an ADR board that can be created for the county. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad idea. I realize you just, you know, maybe just gleaned over that information. I don't know where you guys are with considering that. Anything you can do close to home, I usually find it to be a pretty good idea, but nevertheless. No, we don't, the district attorney's office doesn't use it. The great majority of the district court filings in Grimes County are going to be criminal, coming through grand jury. Not a single one of them will be touching any kind of alternative dispute resolution. Of course, there's nothing mandatory that can be ordered to go into dispute resolution, like you can with a civil contract. So we don't have much of a dog in that fight. So, and I don't know what are your anticipated total costs that are in question on an annualized basis if you waive the fee? Does anybody know?
Well, from the input, it would be minimal.
That's what I was thinking. So, it may not be that big of an issue, and then my guess would be probably the best recommendation to go with would be based on experience, would be whatever the county attorney is recommending there. I hate to say that, but I mean, based on just the number of filings that we have, that won't touch it, and I know just, you know, I can sort of visualize it, I guess, on a graph, if you will, though I couldn't give you a percentage in district court in Grimes County of what's going to be civil versus criminal, but it's almost a de minimis amount. If
And
that
for the
helps.
record, would you identify yourself?
Yes, Anthony Dodson with the District Attorney's Office.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Dodson.
All right, thank you all.
I think one of the things we talked about too with the county clerk was, they've been collecting $5 in the past, and she had recommended 15, then we brought it back down to 5, just collecting the minimum. And, so I think that's where some of the question is too, whether we still collect that 5. So,
I have another text from Chuck,
All right. It's getting exciting.
and I've texted John C. but I got it wrong. Chuck says, I assume this is over the DR fee, and I honestly don't know what that is used for. It would be awesome, all caps, if I could use it to appoint mediators in special circumstances, but I'm not sure if I can. I suspect it is to offset the cost associated with using the DRC, which is the Alternative Dispute Resolution. They do mediation on a sliding financial scale down to no charge. I think they are funded through BB-COG. And so he obviously hasn't read the local government codes and stuff to know exactly how he can use it. So it is something that he would look into using.
So if he did have an opportunity to use those funds, then it would maybe behoove us to continue to collect those funds. Then the question comes back to, do we hold them at 5? Do we raise it to 15? And do we continue to collect them out of the district clerk's office?
I would think for right now, that if we left it at $5, since we do have a
Reserve.
substantial fund balance there, when we start using that fund balance down and we kind of see over a year or two how much we're spending, then we can readdress the fee again, would be my recommendation.
that would be mine also, to just leave them, at the current $5, and rather than impose anything any larger on someone, just leave it where it is and see where this goes over the next year. As far as Ms. LaFleur's recommendation, like I said, each office is different. I mean, if she doesn't see the need, she did send a letter here with her signature of like what she wanted to happen in her office, so.
I think she's currently charging $15.
She is. Because the request is to remove the $15 alternative dispute resolution charge.
Judge, if you'll look at the notes a little bit better, it says she stopped charging it on October 1.
Yep.
Because it says we changed as in past tense.
We changed our court costs for all civil cases to remove the $15. So she's not even collecting it, like you say, as of now. So,
And when she said something to me, I told her, I said, you know, you're supposed to take that before Commissioner's Court, and she said, no. So that's why it's on here now.
thank you. So since we're on item 20,
20.
would you like to make a motion, or you want me to attempt to?
I don't know what motion you want to make.
I want to make the motion to, based upon the individual review of the alternative dispute resolution, we request that we keep the county's clerk fee at the minimum of $5. Isn't that what we were discussing in order to?
I'll second that if that's a motion.
Yes, sir.
It sounded like a motion to me.
It was an attempt, anyway.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 20 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there further discussion? Anybody need a review of the motion?
Are we making a motion on, we're discussing the fee, but not the participation in the Brazos County or Montgomery, or in an ADR system? Is that what?
I think we're gonna
The
need
mo-
more information.
Yeah.
The motion to here is
Just
to
keep the fee.
maintain the $5 dispute resolution, period. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go back to agenda item number 11. Because there's two items on there. One is an item of advisement. Are we in agreement with the district clerk stopping the charge of the $15 ADR, or do we as a court request her to review that?
Tuck says he requires all of his civil cases to go to mediation before a final hearing.
But isn't civil out of county clerk, not district clerk?
It's out of both,
It's out of both,
because he handles all the family cases.
Right.
From the district clerk's office.
Right.
That includes divorce and I'm not sure
Okay.
what else.
okay.
So is he aware that she hasn't been collecting the fee, or he said in your text, can you read that about what he said about he imposes a fee? Is it on the,
He makes the parties pay for the fee. Here it says, most common kind of use is mediation. I require it on all civil cases before temporary orders or final hearings. Usually the parties pay for it. They agree on private mediators. If they can't agree, I appoint a mediator and they must pay. My default mediation service is Dispute Resolution Center in Brazos County.
my question is, are we collecting in the county clerk's office and the district clerk's office?
Yeah.
So
Yes, we
if has he not been seeing anybody since October, or seeing any
Well, we
civil
haven't been
cases?
spending any money out of that account anyway.
Right, none of the money has been coming out
So
of
we
that,
have
but
to
he,
come up with
you know,
some way
he
to do
said,
that.
if he can use that, that would be awesome. And, you know, it would take some financial burden off of the citizens of the county.
Back to my question, so is he collecting a fee from
No.
somewhere?
No, the fees are collected in the county clerk's office and the district clerk's office. He does not collect any fees from his office himself. If fees are opposed by, or ordered by him, then the respective clerks would collect that fee.
So in this past year, he hasn't ordered anybody?
He has sent many people to mediation.
Yeah.
Every civil case he has, he sends to mediation before he will have the final hearing.
The fee is part of the court cost that's assessed when you
Yeah,
file a
when you
case.
file a
It's just
case.
built into whatever what's the civil court cost amount? Off the top of your head, I'm gonna put you on the spot. $277. Of that $277, 15 of it
15
goes
goes
to
to
this.
Yeah.
And it's broken out into the different accounts as we see, but we're not utilizing that account for anything. And so Judge McLean is sending people to mediation on a private basis, which means they hire and pay for their own mediator. And in the event that there's some financial burden, I'm assuming, or some other issue that comes up that doesn't allow for them to do that, then I think he implements the ADR in Brazos County, is what I understand that he's saying.
Yes, he says if they can't come up with a mediator on their own, he appoints one, and it's usually with the AUR in Brazos County.
Right.
And so that's the issue. We have these funds, and I think it goes back to what the county attorney said, since we're not utilizing it locally, that we could possibly utilize it in Brazos County. And one of the possible considerations for doing that is that he be appointed to the board, just so there is some input from Grimes County in that distribution of funds. As far as what to do with these district clerk fees, I don't necessarily know. I mean, at this point, is it gonna make a huge difference as far as the utilization of that money if we can start contributing? I mean, that we review these yearly, is that right, Anna? Yearly? So if we do away with it and we figure out how we're gonna use that money, then maybe next year we could take another look at it. If we keep it, then we've got more money going into that pot that we're gonna have to figure out how to expend.
And with the amount of money that we have in fund balance, it's not gonna hurt if the court wants to just leave it as Ms. LaFleur has requested. And then if we see that we need to implement it, we can.
We can ask her to start
implement it
charging it again.
again. And we can implement it again before the beginning of next year, 2020.
I would be of the mind to follow the recommendation that the district clerk, for her, that she's making.
On both items?
Yes.
So there's a motion before the court on agenda item number 11 to follow along with the recommendations of the district clerk. That's by Commissioner Walker.
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Cox. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anna, thank you.
Thank you.
Back on schedule to agenda item number 12. Grimes County Assistant Auditor Jessica Herrera, consider and approve contract with Atkins for administration services for the Grimes County Hazard Mitigation Plan, attachment number 12.
Are we already coming?
Yes.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. Would you identify yourself for the court, please?
I'm Jessica Herrera, Assistant County Auditor.
Okay. And we have your agenda item before the court. Is there anything that you want to share with us in our decision making?
Nope, you all should have had enough time to look at it. It was emailed actually to all commissioners last Wednesday morning. I resent it to Commissioner Cox since he said he hadn't received it. I didn't get any reply, so.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
Is Grimes County Gov?
You're not on the new one? Okay, so then I resend it to both
I got it.
ways. Okay, wonderful. Yes, John, we get a copy too. I didn't get any response.
So we still didn't get a response as to whether the county attorney had reviewed
Not
this
that I
or not?
know of.
Yeah, we got an email.
Oh, did y'all? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Can you clarify the expense of the $92,000? Is that gonna be coming out of the actual grant, or do we have to upfront it?
The way we read Atkins, or the reason they kind of went with them, is it wouldn't, like, they would get everything out of the grant. It wouldn't cost us any,
Even their fees?
Okay.
as far as I know.
That was their initial proposed, Commissioner?
Yes, it was.
I think,
Yeah.
thank you, Judge.
Sure.
And they also said that it would be $2,000 up front at the start, and then you said the payments would come as work was done.
Not me, I'm not
Or
sure.
it's in something, it's in here.
I would guess.
It's on the back page, Exhibit B. Compensation. Lump sum of $2,000 once the HMGP application has been submitted. And then during the plan development, a lump sum of $90 for a plan. So I'm assuming once it's completed.
Once it's completed, correct.
And if you add any other jurisdictions besides the ones that were listed, remember I asked a question about Richards, and that's not a city, but it would be included
Well, it wouldn't be included as a jurisdiction.
as.
They will participate in the
Yeah,
process.
not as a
yes.
jurisdiction, but as in the county as a whole.
Yes, ma'am. As a legal entity, they would not be included on the list here, but they will participate, just as we hope all the communities, Whitehall and, any of the other, like even Todd Mission, or not Todd Mission, but Rome's Prairie, any citizens in any of the communities that are not incorporated would participate in that planning process.
And it also states that expenses are built into the totals as listed above.
Because they were all inclusive in the proposal.
Do we have any other concerns? Did you have what the county attorney said?
Well, she sent a copy of the little notes that he made, but I guess it didn't come through on the notes.
Let me go pull it over.
Ma'am?
Do you want to let her get the notes and we move on?
Sure. See if she's gonna step right back in.
She was gonna go pull the email and bring it back.
Yeah. But I admit, you couldn't see any markings on the original contract from what John C. sent. So the next thing up is the Harry Walker Show. There's about 200 agenda items that he loaded up prior to
Yeah, I made you come in early, but he's making you stay.
state law. Okay. So is there peace and satisfaction in your life because of that, Mr. Lilly? The answer would be no.
My peace and satisfaction doesn't derive just from that.
Okay.
It comes from many sources.
And this is slated to take, what did it take? Do you remember what we discussed, the timeline? It takes what, 18 months or something?
Well, we set a timetable of 12 months.
We set a timetable of 12?
And when we had some initial discussions, correct me if I'm wrong, David, but they felt like they could fulfill their obligation in that 12 month, and we felt like they could because of their experience.
Because the primary project manager that would be working with us, she had firsthand experience with the previous plan that was
Right.
developed by the county. So yes, she does have some knowledge of what our challenges are, and I believe that she is well equipped and qualified to go through the changes that we'll need to make to that plan.
That wasn't the sole reason we went with them, but it
No.
was a strong part of the
Oh, yeah,
consideration.
It was a huge part of the decision.
And so if we do approve this agreement, we'll need to change the date from,
They just signed it on the date that they.
That's when they
Yeah.
signed
it
it.
over.
This is his copy.
I printed out the attachment that said it would include them. There are no.
There are no, so that made me believe that it was okay.
Yeah, I don't see any notes that he's put on it either.
You know when we'll do that.
I have not a clue.
So we don't need to make this contingent upon you talking.
We could, I mean, we could approve,
Yeah, most of these were just to bring our attention
Yeah.
to any of the terms. So it's
we
not-
can make a motion to approve what we have before us contingent upon any changes that the county attorney may recommend, but at least that would allow us to get the signatures and to get moving on this.
Is that a
Matter of fact, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the contract as is, but also contingent upon final review of the county attorney. We believe he's had his final review, and because there are no indication of changes on the contract, it would be acceptable as is.
Second.
Second.
Since you said it twice, I'm gonna give it to you. There was a race. There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 12 by County Judge Joe Fouth. It's seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you both. Thank you very much. We now go to the Harry Walker Show, Road and Bridge Engineer. Agenda items 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. However, we'll take them one at a time. 13, consideration and possible approval of the special road use indemnity agreement for Enhanced Energy Partners Corporation, Juneau Oil and Gas, as a well site on County Road 172. See attachment number 13. Mr. Walker.
Good morning, everyone. Happy day after Christmas. This is a road use permit application for a new well to be drilled by Juno Oil on County Road 172. In this case, there is only one route available to access the site. We have evaluated that route and determined there's only a minor amount of work that needs to be done on that road. This is an oil and gas well?
Yes.
And the anticipation is that you'll be in and out of there during the 90 days of the permit.
Yes.
So we're recommending that the permit be approved at this time.
Is that in your precinct, Mr. Commissioner Mallett?
I move to approve a special road use indemnity agreement for Enhanced Energy Partners Corp. For a well site on County Road 172.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 13 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? Did we get any royalties on this?
I don't.
Madam Auditor, do we?
No.
Okay. There's no further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Number 14, consideration and possible approval for the first
Thank you.
renewal of Strike LLC's Magellan Special Road Use Indemnity Agreement. See attachment 14.
This is the road use agreement on the Magellan Pipeline. This is their first renewal. Since the original permit, we have added several more roads to their access routes. The additional roads that weren't previously included were 407, Deer Creek Lane, and County Road 411. They will continue this operation for a number of months, but this will not be the last renewal on their permit. And they have provided some additional funding to take care of some of the damages on roads that have been incurred to date.
Is the additional funding enough?
For now,
Okay.
Are they going south or north? Which way?
They're going south, aren't they?
well, they crossing the county, they come into the county in the northwest corner, close to Highway 30, and they're going out the south end to Waller County along the Center Point easement. They're working in the central portion of the county right now, sort of between 3090 and 105. That's where the main activity is right now. They'll shift into the south end of the county next, and then come back later on to do the northwest portion that's mostly down in the Navasota River floodplain. So they may be out there next summer, hopefully.
Pretty much through y'all's precincts, aren't they?
A lot of them are basically,
With yours too, Commissioner?
Everything except precinct 3 is a piece of it.
and they're tearing the roads up pretty bad in places, but there's no need to try to really bring those back up right now until they get through with all the heavy stuff that they're hauling in, because as wet as it is.
It's been tough with the wet weather we've had this fall. They've done quite a bit of damage. They did write us a check for $55,000 in additional road materials. And these are just, as the work progresses, we will continue to work with them on repairing the damages that do occur.
Would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I would just like to make a comment on that. They are working. It would be difficult to do a final maintenance period because they are doing so much work in the county, and I'm encouraged by the fact that they have at least given some offset to some of the damages that they've done. So with that being said, I'd make a motion that we approve the first renewal of Strike LLC Magellan Special Road Use Indemnity Agreement.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 14 by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 15, consideration and possible approval for a special road use indemnity agreement for ETX for a well located on CR 132. See attachment number 15.
ETX is in the process of drilling a disposal well on County Road 132. This is going to be good news for us because they have several active wells on 132, and they're taking an old well and re-drilling it to use as a disposal well, and then they're going to run a pipeline from the other two wells to the disposal well. It'll take about 14 saltwater trucks a day off of this road, which will help tremendously with long-term maintenance. We have also, because of the recent completion of the new bridge on County Road 132, we're able to route them directly from Highway 90 down 132 and not around. They were taking 137, 138, 136, 132, coming around the horn before. Because of the low-rated bridge that used to be there on 132. So overall, this is good news. The disposal well will be a long-term operation, similar to others we have in the county. But I'm really pleased that they are running a pipeline that will take the majority of the flow rather than running trucks to it. So it should be good for us.
Mr. Walker, do we have a depth, do you know of a depth that they're making the disposal?
I did not ask that question, Judge.
Do we have any concern about water wells or water tables in the area by re-injecting the salt water?
No, they are reworking an old well.
Right.
Even the shallow wells in the county are 2,800, 3,000 feet, are well below
Okay.
the water producing strata.
That answers my question.
Typically, a water well, even a commercial water well, won't go below 1,000 or 1,200 feet.
Sure.
There's good separation.
Most of them are 200 to 300 foot, so.
Yeah, the private wells are very shallow, but even a public well won't be nearly this deep.
Good.
I move to approve a special road use indemnity agreement for ETX for well site located on County Road 132.
I second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 15 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, consideration and possible approval of a resolution authorizing the award of a contract for engineering services with Goodwin Lassiter Incorporated related to the design of two bridges on CR 201 and CR 202 under the 2015 General Land Office -CDBG. Is this a test for the day after Christmas? Disaster Recovery Grant, see attachment number 16. Mr. Walker.
This item and the next item, 17, are related. This item is a resolution authorizing hiring Goodwin Lassiter. The next item you'll see is the actual contract with them. As you recall, that we received a grant from the GLO based on the 2015 floods that includes the replacement of bridges on County Road 201 and 202. We went through a selection process. After reviewing submittals, the selection committee chose to negotiate with Goodwin Lassiter. With those negotiations were successful, they have agreed to perform the services requested within the funds that were provided in the grant. The county has an obligation for a 6% match on this grant, which in this case we'll be doing through in-kind services, some of the road work that we will do with county forces. So all of the all of the fee associated with this will be covered out of the grant.
Is that are you here representing?
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Commissioners, have all of you read the the resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
I move that we approve the resolution authorizing the award of the contract for engineering services with Goodwin Lassiter Incorporated related to the design of two bridges on County Road 201 and 202 under the 2015 GLO CDBG Disaster Recovery Grant.
Second.
There is a motion before the court on agenda item number 16 by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Go to number 17. Consideration and possible approval of an engineering services contract with Goodwin Lassiter Incorporated for professional services related to the 2015 GLO CDBG Disaster Recovery Grant and authorize the county judge as signatory. See attachment number 17.
This is the actual contract for hiring Goodwin Lassiter for these services. The fee proposed is $60,755. The term of this would be to the end of the grant period, which was, the grant started in late August of this year. The actual contract time provides for 2 years, so we have about 21 months left. They will do the design services and then assist us during the construction phase for oversight on the contract. The forms used for this are standard forms provided by GLO, and the county attorney's office has reviewed them, and we do address those comments.
Move to approve an engineering services contract with Goodwin Lassiter Incorporated for professional services related to the 2015 GLO CDBG Disaster Recovery Grant and authorize the county judge's signature.
Second the motion.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 17 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. I will make the comment that it was intriguing reading before Christmas to go through this contract. I was spellbound to the very end.
I'm sure it was great for your getting to sleep on Christmas Eve.
I don't know how John C. does that. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to agenda item number 18. Consideration and possible approval for the purchase of a motor grader for the Road and Bridge Department. See attachment number 18.
During the budget process, the court approved the purchase of a motor grader. The budgeted amount for that purchase was $275,000. We anticipated a $40,000 trade-in of an old piece of equipment. The actual numbers after negotiating the contract, we're proposing to purchase a new John Deere 670G motor grader at a price of $239,850. And then we actually, rather than trading in the old motor grader, we put it in the auction. We received $38,000 on that piece of equipment. So the net cost was $200,850. So we were well within the allotted $235,000 for this purchase.
Well done.
If there aren't any further questions, I'd like to move that we approve the purchase of the motor grader for the Road and Bridge Department.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 18 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? Mr. Walker, when would you, if approved, when would you expect to take receipt of that?
They anticipate early to mid-February. for delivery.
Further discussion? Question? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 19, consider acceptance of a right-of-way donation of 1.453 acres in the John B. Tong Survey, A-446 being a portion of County Road 206, see attachment number 19.
This is actually an interesting item, a little different. There's a piece of property on County Road 206 that has been up for sale. In negotiating the purchase, the purchasers were concerned that the survey of the property included a 30-foot strip along County Road 206, which appeared to be in the county road right-of-way, which in fact it is a portion of the county road right-of-way. They weren't real comfortable with what that meant for them, and you know, if they were purchasing this and this was included in the purchase, so that the sellers contacted us and asked about the possibility of just donating this strip to the county. We saw no issues with that. County Attorney's Office drew up the deed of donation, so they are scheduled to close on the 28th on the sale of this property. They wanted to go ahead and get this strip on County Road 206 conveyed ahead of that. So that's why we're here before you today. So what we're doing is accepting a formal dedication of a strip of county road right-of-way that is it's in the 258 maps. The county's been using it, maintaining it for many years. So this just cleans up the records effectively. So that in the future, there will be no questions as to who owns that strip of land.
Commissioner, is this in your precinct?
Yes, it is.
And you're in agreement with this?
Yes.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes. I move that we accept the right-of-way donation of 1.45 acres in the John B. Tong Survey, A-446 being a portion of County Road 206.
I second it.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 19 by Commissioner Dobianski, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That would bring us to the road and bridge report, sir.
Crews have been continuing to work with, again, being hampered by the wet weather conditions. We're still playing catch up on trying to get some of the roads back in shape. We are, again, we're doing what we can when we can. We've done some repairs out in King Oaks on a section of Scarborough that we'll be doing some repaving in there next summer, but one section that had cratered so badly it had to be repaired now. Went ahead and took care of that. We've been hauling base material to various roads as we're able to get dry material and can get the roads dried up and cleaned up enough where we can justify putting base on them. As I mentioned earlier, Wakefield Bridge completed the additional work on the County Road 132 bridge. Went ahead and extended the wing walls parallel to the road on both sides on the upstream side to address some of the damages we saw back in October. Other contractors, Palisota is continuing to try and work on County Road 141. They have really been struggling because most of that work is down in an active creek and they just have not been able to get it blocked off and dried up enough to make much progress. So they're continuing to fight that. And then we have Nyland Bridge is coming in here right after the new year to start doing some EM3 work on County Road 237. And then we've got some other small bridge repair replacement projects, so we'll probably have them do while they're here in town also. Drainage crews staying busy. They've been doing quite a bit of ditch work. The Road and Bridge Department itself has been busy generating agenda items primarily. But we also had time to meet with TxDOT on the 249 project, continuing that conversation. This was the first opportunity we had to meet with Williams Brothers contractor. Judge and Commissioner Dobianski were involved in that. We're continuing to work on trying to get some design changes made there to increase the safety of that project. And then as you just went through, we had a number of road use permits that were approved. We've been out and done assessments and received checks related to all of those for additional road materials. Any questions?
I have a comment. A week before last, I got a phone call. Most of the time, we're getting phone calls about complaints on the roads, but I got a very refreshing phone call from Mr. Thomas Coas on County Road 207. He wanted to know who the grader operator was who graded that road that day. And I told him I didn't know, but I would find out. So I called Patrick, and it was Kyle Brzezinski. He is a new operator doing a tremendous job for us, and I did go out and tell him that last week, and he's appreciative of it. So
Kyle's doing a real good job. He's one of the young operators just recently promoted from a laborer, and he's doing a real good job, and people are noticing.
It's good news.
I think it's awesome, Commissioner, that you went out and told them yourself, because that means so much to the workers.
Sure.
That you take of your time to go in detail.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Enjoy your vacation. We'll go to agenda item number 21, consider and take action regarding the burn ban and authorize the county judge as signatory. It's supposed to rain up to 80% today and 100% tomorrow. I would propose we leave the burn ban as is. Agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 22, receive any updates on the strategic plan. Anybody have anything to report there? Hearing none, is there a motion for agenda item number 23?
Judge, before we make that motion, I've been notified of some news from Ms. Matichek. I think she might want to address the court if it's appropriate.
Yes, ma'am.
I talked with Commissioner Cox this morning. I am not sure how many people actually know this information. Judge LaFleur is in ICU at the College Station Medical Center on ventilator. Just spoke with Diane. He's not doing well at all. And could be a matter of times, it could be a matter of days. We don't know. Nobody knows except for the good Lord upstairs. But she's obviously having a very hard time dealing with it, so she will be out of the office for an extended period of time, which the office will be ran, not a problem. That's her concern, as it shouldn't be, but it is, because I just got off the phone with her. But the main thing is that we really need to start a prayer chain, because she's having a hard time. The kids are having a hard time, and
So it's the staff.
Sure. We prayed for them in our invocation this morning, and we'll continue that process.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
That's why I say to you, Mr. Paskett, enjoy your retirement. There comes a time.
We're at agenda item number 23 to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 23 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Dobianski. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We adjourn. Thank you, folks.
Nobody said you had to work all your life.